What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Too Pop to Handle. I'm your host, Andrew Nucatola, and as always, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. We have a fabulous episode ahead of us. It is officially daylight savings time, and to be completely honest with you, it is kicking my ass. I have been so tired since Sunday. Honestly, it could just be because I was up late this weekend. I had a lot going on, but I'm kind of just leaning into the fact that this hour that was taken from us, whatever it may be, it's definitely kicking my ass, but I will suffer for a week and be tired if it means we have sunlight until 7 p.m. Thomas and I literally just got home. It's 7:30 and we went and got a drink after work because it was beautiful outside and it was still sunny out until we got home 10 minutes ago. So it has just been it's only been a few days, but I already feel like the energy in the city is lifting. It is just fabulous. What a wonderful thing that daylight savings is. But it was so funny. Over the weekend, obviously, it happened on what was it, Sunday night or Sunday morning, I guess. And I was away this weekend at my friend Shauna's house, which we'll get into a full weekend recap in a second. But we were up late, just having fun, drinking, doing our thing at her house, and it was 1:30 something, and I was like, all right, at 2 o'clock, I'm personally gonna go brush my teeth and call it. I was thinking in my head, once 2 a.m. hits, I'm out. And I was looking at my phone and I was looking, it was 1:58, 1:59, 3 a.m. I was like, oh my God. We all completely forgot that daylight savings was happening. And we all were I think all of us had the same idea, all right, 2 a.m., we're gonna cut it, call it a night, and just go to sleep. And I feel like all of us, it was me, my friend Brianna, Ayla, and Shauna. We all looked at each other. We were like, "Fuck! It's 3 a.m. now. We have to go to bed." But all of us we all completely forgot. We all completely forgot that this was happening, and it was just a universal oh fuck, if we weren't already tired, we are shot now. But that being said, I had such a fabulous full weekend this weekend. I went to New Jersey Friday night and I was there until Sunday. And I have my girls from high school, and we always get together. We try to do as many weekends as we can, but it's always at least one weekend the four of us get together. We call it the big chill. And we just literally go to somebody's house or an Airbnb, and we essentially have nothing planned. We just sit, veg out, rot on the couch, eat, drink, do karaoke this weekend. It originally started actually because the new season of Grace and Frankie was coming out back in this had to be 2019, maybe 2018. I don't know. It's been a few years that we've been friends for 15 years at this point. But I want to say in 2018 we started doing this where we'd all get together one weekend, and it started because the new season of Grace and Frankie was coming out, so we all wanted to watch it together. So we rented a house in New Jersey because it was the middle point for all of us, and we got to the house and did not leave the house the entire weekend. We just binged the entire new season. And now it has just become this tradition where we do this and we will just go to somebody's house, go to an Airbnb, and just do nothing all weekend. Or we'll do things, but it's very low key. And it is just the best, most nurturing, soul rejuvenating thing to do. On Friday night, we watched the Eras tour, we drank, and we made pizzas. Saturday, we thrifted all day long. We literally went to 8 thrift stores. We went to antique stores, thrift shops. We went to this cute little strip mall in Asbury Park. We were just going around spending money. It was so much fun, but it was thrifting. So it was I think I spent $50 and I got 3 vinyls. I got some books. I got a plant. We were doing it. We were budget savvy, throwing away our money, but it was so much fun. And then yeah, then that was it. That was my weekend. It was so much fun. It was fabulous. We just had so much fun. I know Brianna and Ayla listen, so hello, my friends. I love you guys. What a fabulous weekend. Can't wait to do it again. I know we're trying to plan one for the summer. But anyway, regardless, fabulous, fabulous weekend. And on top of that fabulous weekend, we have a fabulous, fabulous body of work that we are going to talk about today. And you guys already know what I'm talking about. But before we do that, I have to just bring this up because it's not even necessarily that I wanted to make it my mess, because I was just this is just such fuckery that I'm what is going on? But I'm sure you've all seen it. This TikTok ban that is eminent, low key, kind of happening. I'm there are so many bigger issues in the world than banning TikTok. And this happens once a year. I feel there's oh my God, they're gonna ban it because of XYZ. They're gonna ban it because this, that, whatever. And this time it's I think they're voting on it next week. They're doing it. There was TikTok creators in DC today protesting it. Like, it is just such a crazy sentence, as if there's not like a war happening overseas, as if like trans people aren't like legally allowed to be trans in certain states, as if women can't get abortions in most states right now. We're worried about TikTok. Like, it is so insane to me, and I'm just like trying to wrap my head around it. If TikTok goes away, realistically, like I work in social media, so it will affect me a little bit, both personal and professional. I'm a social media manager, if you didn't know. So, like, it will definitely have a toll on me in that sense. But, like, at the end of the day, we've seen this happen with Vine. Like, we know, we've seen apps go away after being around for a while. So, like, something new will happen. We'll all go to Reels, YouTube Shorts. Like, people will still be making content. Like, will it be to the level where TikTok is? Probably not, which is unfortunate. And it is such like a creative outlet for some people, including myself. I mean, like, I've been posting on my personal TikTok a lot more. I've been posting on the podcast TikTok a lot more. So, like, obviously, like, that will be a hit. But, like, at the end of the day, like, there will be a new app. You know what I mean? So, to me, the bigger problem is, like, why are we so worried about an app when, like, women can't get an abortion in most states? LGBTQ plus people like don't have rights. Like people are being like it is just so crazy to me that these are the issues that are happening. So just a gentle reminder that isn't an election year, so get out and vote, please. Like we need to get some serious people in office at like a local level, at like all levels, because it is just like we are like genuinely like the laughing stock of the world. I feel like it is just such a insane thing to think about how backwards the things that America worries about are. I cannot express it enough. It truly just like drives me nuts. And when I started this podcast, I said like I didn't really want to get political on it. I'm not going to. Like I'm never going to get crazy because I just don't want that. I want this to be like a escape for people, and it is for myself too. But like certain things, I'm just like this is stupid. You know what I mean? Like why are they worried? Why are they wasting their time and worrying about TikTok when there are such bigger issues happening in the world? It just like it truly blows my mind, and like I just don't understand what like where their I mean, I know where their priorities lie. Their priorities lie in anti-LGBT, anti-women, anti-TikTok, alleged. Like apparently those are the big three, I guess, for the government. But that being said, just like I didn't even want to save it for the end of the show because I wanted to just like get it out there now and be like, this is so stupid. And we really just like we all need to really reflect for a second and just be like, there are so many bigger problems in the world than a TikTok ban. Why is this what is happening? I don't know. It really like I saw this happening and it blew my mind. I genuinely was like, can we just have our silly little app? Like, can we just like, can you guys worry about something bigger than this, than people doing dances and eating like freeze-dried candy and vlogging their days? There's so many bigger issues. That being said, we are not going to stay on this topic for too long because I don't want to, become a political podcast and start that ruckus up, but just needed to touch on it. But like I said, there was such a shift in my life this weekend. And you guys, I'm sure you know what I'm alluding to, but we are going to get to it. And without further ado, let's hop into our first segment of the show, drill releases. Now, there were three main releases last week, but realistically, there was one main release. So let's go through the two that I'm not even gonna lie, were on my radar, but like slipped off so fast. So, first and foremost, Girl in Red released her title track to her upcoming album, Doing It Again, Baby. And it is, she said herself, she was like, this is the loudest song I've ever released. And she's right. It is, there's so much going on with this song. And to be completely honest, I've listened to it 2 times because I was just so preoccupied with the Ariana Grande of it all. But I liked the sound. I'm excited for the rest of the album. I've been talking about how much I love Too Much for weeks. So, this I don't love nearly as much as that song. And I need to like marinate a little bit more with it, but I'm like bursting at the seams to talk about Eternal Sunshine. So I liked it. It's staying on the playlist. You guys know that is like my stamp of approval if it's staying on the playlist because I did like it and I'm curious to see how it plays into the rest of the album. It's the title track. So I'm like, okay, this is obviously like a big piece of this album for Girl in Red. So loved a new Girl in Red release. And then Flo released their single Walk Like This. And again, they honestly, I've never heard a Flo song that I didn't like. They just always hit it on the head. They're just such like a fun R&B. They're so good at what they do. They like stick to their guns. They just like know what they're good at. They stick to it. Their visuals are always on point. Like they're just fantastic. So Walk Like This, just another solid flow track. I'm loving it. It's getting the stamp of approval and it is staying on the playlist. Now, to really hone in on the fact that Ariana Grande released her album, I'm going to start with this. When I say Ariana Grande's best album, you say Eternal Sunshine. I cannot believe how fantastic this album is. Thomas and I stayed up until midnight on Friday morning to listen to this album because Thomas is like number one. Thomas is my boyfriend, if you don't know. And Ariana's one of my like I'd say top five favorite artists of all time. I love her. I adore her. She's been one of my faves forever. So we were both very excited. It was a huge weekend in our house. And we stayed up till midnight to listen to it because it just felt right. And it was only 36 minutes, which, if you ask me, is the perfect length for an album. I think any album over 45 minutes with okay, any album that isn't like a full rounded project, so like my mind immediately goes to Renaissance is obviously longer than 45 minutes, but like that album has transitions within the songs. Like it's not just like 16 songs that don't necessarily like blend into each other. So like if an album just has so many songs on it and it is just like not cohesive. At that point, I'm like, why? Like, what is happening? But to me, a perfect album only needs to be like 45 minutes long. So to me, 36 minutes is a perfect album length. There's no fluff. There's like, it's all the songs that you wanted on the album. You don't need to add these filler songs in, you know? Like sometimes you listen to an album and you can tell that there's just like fluff added to it. For an example, Melodrama is 38 minutes long, I want to say. Perfect album. There's no skips, there's no fluff on it. It is all just like the creme de la creme. And Eternal Sunshine is no exception to this. I I I knew I was gonna love the album. I knew I was gonna love it. Always love Ariana Grande, but I was not expecting to have a new favorite Ariana Grande album in the year 2024, and it has exceeded every single expectation. So I don't like I guess the best way to kind of dive into it is just to kind of like speed round, go through it track by track. So I have all the tracks here. We're going to go through each of them and just give like quick thoughts. So it starts with an intro, end of the world. And it starts out with her pretty much saying, like, how am I supposed to know if I'm in the right relationship? She's literally her relationship has always been the forefront of like every story about her, unfortunately. So she's literally saying, she's like, and we all know what she went through like the past year or so. So like she's saying, she's like, how was I supposed to know if I was in the right relationship or not? Like you're supposed to just know. And how do we as humans know that? So it's important to remember that question. She starts the album saying, how am I supposed to know if I'm in the right relationship? Then we go on to Bye, which if you listen to last week's episode, I said in her Zach Sang interview, she said that she wanted to be as nice as possible about her divorce. And Bye is a song directly about the divorce. And it is a certified bop. I am so obsessed. It is in my top three. I'll give you my top three at the end, but it is absolutely one of my favorite tracks on the album. Moving on, we have Don't Want to Break Up Again. Just like, I mean, like, I love this album so much that just looking and thinking about the layout of this album, it is just so good. I'm literally obsessed with it. Moving through the album, next up is Don't Want to Break Up Again, and oh, she literally calls her marriage a situationship, which to me is like I'm like obsessed with that. Like she's kind of it almost makes you think like I wonder if she knew this wasn't a really like going to work out or like maybe she's just like thinking that's how he thought. I don't even want to say his name, but Dalton, how Dalton was like treating their relationship because it turns out he cheated on her. So if you go back a few episodes, my title was called You Owe Ariana Grande an Apology, and I'm going to say it again. The world owes Ariana Grande an apology because she was cheated on. So whatever, like there's just a lot going on in her life, I feel, and we'll get to it, but I genuinely don't believe that she went and had Ethan cheat on his wife after being cheated on. We'll get to why I think that, but we'll keep going. But again, I think this girl deserves an apology. Moving on through the album, Saturn's Return interlude. So this obviously is just a woman speaking. It got 2 million streams already, which is crazy because it's literally like a 40-second song of just some women speaking. But this song, it's just, I mean, it's not even a song. This interlude, I like it. I think it's essential to the album saying that like, eventually you're going to find what you need. You're going to find what is meant for you, and you're going to wake up and be like, oh my God, like, this is my calling. I also turned 29 this year, and this whole thing is saying, like, oh, your Saturn returns every 29 years. So, I'm not saying my Saturn has returned or hasn't. I don't really know. I feel like, I don't know. Regardless, turning 29 this year and having this track, I'm like, oh, she did this for the 95 baby. So that was for us. And then we go into the title track of the album, Eternal Sunshine. A bop. I fucking love this song so much. It has gone in and out of my top three. It like teeters back and forth, but I'm fully obsessed with this song. I mean, the chorus alone, she says, I showed you all my demons, all of my lies, yet you played me like Atari. Now it's like, now I'm looking in the mirror. Hope you feel alright when you're in her. Hope you feel alright when you're in her. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, like, she's laying it all out on the table. But I found a good boy. He's on my side. You're my eternal sunshine, sunshine. That's just the chorus, obviously, but there's more to it. And she's just saying, she's like, you fucked me over. You were wrong and you cheated. And I hope you felt good. But now I've got my new man. I'm doing my thing and he's my sunshine and I'm happy. And you know what? There's so much going on online, excuse me, about like, oh, this album is about Ethan, like, and everyone's dragging him because of his looks and like the alleged situation that happened, whatever. Can we just like, the same thing happened with Mac a few years ago and Pete when all that happened. Like, she somehow goes through a lot all at once. Like, I don't understand how, but her life kind of just like hits her like a ton of bricks all at once. And I think genuinely, like, people need to just be like, all right, who cares what he looks like? If she's happy, let her be happy. You're not dating him. You're not waking up next to him. Let let bygones be bygones. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But moving through the album, Supernatural, this is absolutely top three, locked in for me. This is, she said it on Zach saying that it's just like the horniest song on the album. It is Chef's Kiss, perfect song. Perfect song. I'm obsessed with this song. Next up on the album is True Story, and this one she's getting into it. She's saying essentially like, if you really need me to be the bad guy, if that's what's gonna make you sleep better at night, fine, I'll be the bad guy. Like, this is not what I need in my life. I don't need to be, you know, having these fights and like being lied to and being played and being cheated on. She's like, if you really, there's one line she says, sorry, I'm reading the lyrics. She says, um, for fun, you like to pray for my demise, but I'll play whatever part you need me to, and I'll be good in it too. She's like, go ahead, paint me as the bad guy, paint me as like whoever you need me to be. I'll own it and I'll rock it, and she's still gonna come out on top. And that being said, she's predicted for a number one debut album and number one single with We Can't Be Friends. So two number one singles from this album, and the album's more than likely gonna go number one. Like, clearly she's played the bad guy and people do not give a fuck. So, love it, love it, love it, love it. Moving on through the album, the next is The Boy Is Mine. And so to me, when I was listening to this and like looking at how the album plays out, so True Story is her kind of like saying like, you know what, whatever, like I'll be the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. The boy is mine. She's like, fuck it, the boy is mine. I don't care. Like, he is mine. I'm taking him. I took him. She just, I mean, the way that the tempo speeds up and slows down, and she's just like talking her shit. I think that True Story was her just kind of like clearing her name, but also being like, I don't care what you say. And then also turning around and being like, if you're gonna say bad things about me, well, the boy's mine. I want him. Sorry, he's mine. Like, she's like, go, you're gonna paint me as a bad guy anyway. I might as well play into it. And you know what? I don't blame her. She gets such a negative front from the media, from her fans, honestly, from Taylor Swift fans. We're gonna get into that in a little bit, but just from like so many different angles, people just paint her as the bad guy, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna play into it. Why not? You might as well. And I love that narrative of like, it's very like Taylor Swift reputation when you think of it. Like, I was painted as one thing, so I'm gonna play into it and I'm gonna make money off of it and I'm gonna show you that like I'm still gonna come out on top. And she is. That she is. Moving on, next up is Yes and. Now, something that is so interesting to me, back in February, so last month, I forget who she said it to, but someone asked her why Yes and was the lead single, and she said, you have to think about it like Thank You Next, where Thank You Next was released because it needed to be the first single on the album, but it wasn't necessarily going to be the best song on the album. It just needed to be the first song, and hearing it in this album, 100%, I could not agree more. She knew that if she released a single from any of the other songs first, it would kind of give it away that this isn't a house album. This album is just kind of her experimenting with some sounds, and like her production is like it's definitely a different sound, but I think she wanted us to think one thing and then go into it and be like, oh shit, like she was not playing around with the music, the lyrics, the production. And if she was to release another song from the album as a single, it would kind of give us too much of a look into the album. You know what I mean? Like the other songs are so personal that she had to kind of give us this filler song almost. I hate to even call Yes and a filler song because I genuinely love it. And people keep saying like, oh, when I listen to the album, I skip it. I do not. I listen to it full through. I love Yes and still, but I totally understand and appreciate the fact that she released that first to kind of like bait us. Like when you listen to Yes and she doesn't say anything about like cheating, about, any of the allegations. She's just saying like, say it with your chest, go ahead, like this is what you think. It's almost like if you took True Story and like watered it down. You know what I mean? It's like she's not giving us too many details, just kind of like giving us a fun beat, a fun message and running with it. So Yes and I still appreciate it as a song, but track 10, We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love. Okay. I have so many layers to this. So, first and foremost, anybody who knows me since 2019 when the song came out or has followed me anywhere, you know that Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa has been my holy grail pop song. It is to this day one of, if not the best pop song I have ever heard in my life. It scratches an itch in my brain. Scratches an itch. Itches a scratch. No, scratches an itch. I always mix those up. Scratches an itch in my brain. It just has the perfect beat, perfect message, everything. I'm obsessed with that song, and I've continuously made a joke that like I have yet to hear a song in the last 5 years better than "Don't Start Now." "We Can't Be Friends" is challenging that song. And I mean that with my whole heart. I'm not saying I don't know if it's there yet. I need to like listen to it more, but this song is I can't even put into words how much I love this song. When it first came on our first listen, Thomas and I were sitting there. The second I heard that Dancing on My Own sample in the back, I was like, the shriek that I let out. I texted my friends Joe and Jacqueline immediately on our group chat because we all just like are obsessed with Dancing on My Own by Robin. Who isn't? And I was like, guys, pop emergency, red alert. Ariana samples Robin on the album, and we all freaked out. And I said it right then and there. I was like, this is my favorite song on the album. This is the best song on the album. And at first I was like, am I jumping to conclusions? Like, am I making an assumption too early? I stand by it. It has been my favorite on the album since my first listen, and it will not change. This song is perfect. It is so heartbreaking and so sad, but it has that fun, upbeat tempo. The sound is perfect. The music video is heartbreaking. I've watched it so many times and I've cried so many times watching it because it is just so that one scene. If you watch the video, you know she's laying in the chair and she grabs her necklace and she like mouths to the doctor, like, let me keep this memory, let me keep this one. Oh my God. I can't get over it. It is genuinely the definition of a perfect pop song, and I cannot get enough. It's been streaming like crazy. People have been going nuts over the song, which thank God people are appreciating this. And Ariana was so smart to release this as the second single because she knew it was going to hit with the general public. It gives just enough about like her story and everything to like still kind of reel people in. Like this one doesn't necessarily like spell out everything that happened in her relationship with Dalton and or with Ethan. This obviously is more about Dalton, but like people listen to this to find out either what happened about Dalton and what happened about Ethan. This song is a perfect way to kind of like bait people to be like, hey, like this is obviously about my ex and like things that happened, like, but you're not gonna get the full story from this one song. But the song is so good that it's gonna reel people in to listen to the rest of the album. And I think she was so smart for that. The music video is perfect, the song is perfect. It is a perfect song. I'm 10,000% obsessed. I cannot get enough. I'm calling it now. It will probably be my number one most listened to song of the year. I use Apple Music, not Spotify. Don't come for me, but they do like Apple Music replay every single week. And I'm 99% sure that this song will be at least in my top. The album honestly will probably be in my top 10 because I haven't listened to anything else since it came out. But I'm saying it right now. It is March, what's the date? March 12th, 2024. when Apple Music Replay comes around at the end of the year, if this song is not in my top three, let alone my first song, my most listened to song, I will be shocked because I'm that obsessed. It's so good. But moving on, next up, I Wish I Hated You. Now, this is the song she said on Zach saying she will never perform live because it's heartbreaking. And it's such like a to go from We Can't Be Friends to this is such a switch, but it's just that like it's so sad. And she's saying she's like, you treated me like shit and you were awful to me, but like I still can't hate you, which is such like a sad emotion to feel. If you've ever felt that, if you've ever been in the situation where you know you should hate somebody, but you can't and you don't. It's a sad situation, and this song encapsulates that so perfectly. Moving on is Imperfect for You. Obsessed. That the imperfect for you in the chorus where like she purposely plays like the wrong notes in the chorus because it's imperfect. I mean, come on. She's admitting, she's like, hey, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm never gonna be, the the picture perfect person. I'm imperfect for you though. Like it's such a cute little message. And then ending with Ordinary Things featuring Nona. This song, I love to hear Ariana Grande sing about how much money she has. I love Seven Rings. If I have a Seven Rings tattoo, I'm obsessed with Seven Rings. I love it. I think it is so cunty. This is almost like Seven Rings grown up. She's like, we can drink champagne in California. We can have omakase in Tokyo. We can literally spend as ever much money we want. We have so much money, but all I want is to spend time with you. And I think that's just like a obviously she's flashing her money a bit, but she's like, I don't care. I don't care what money I have. I don't care, what it is. Like I just want more time with you is the whole message of the song. And if you remember when I started the review of the album and I said she starts the album saying, how am I supposed to know if I'm in the right relationship? Thomas pointed out a really good point to me. She ends this with Nona saying, if you can go to bed without kissing your partner goodnight, you're in the wrong relationship. You're not in the right relationship. So the fact that she opens the song asking, how do I know if I'm in the right relationship? And then goes through this whole journey on the album about her divorce, about her new relationship and finding herself and like fighting with the media and things like that, and end with Nona literally saying, like, it's as simple as, hey, you guys are gonna fight. You can get over a fight, but if you can go to bed at night and not kiss them goodnight and you're okay with that, you're in the wrong relationship. Like it's simpler than you think, which when you boil it down, it's such like a what a like a beautiful rounded out album concept. Like it really should be that simple, you know what I mean? Like there shouldn't be a big like question of is this the right person? Is this not? Like you if you're questioning if it's the right relationship, you're in the wrong relationship. But B, yeah, like if you can go to bed mad at somebody at night and then like not kiss them goodnight and like or whatever it may be, like not be like the little things in life, you're in the wrong relationship. And I just think it is such a beautiful way to start and end the album. This is I cannot express how much I love this album. She genuinely outdid herself, and Ariana Grande, you will always be famous. I can't say it enough. Like I am so in awe of the production, the vocals, the lyrics, everything about this album is perfect to me. It is a 10 out of 10. And the fact that this is the first album of this like 8-week run of albums coming out, like we are starting this on such a high note that even if the next week or two though the albums coming out don't hit, I'll be fine because this album could truly fulfill me for 2, 3. Like I'm good. I'm good. If I only got this album this year, I'd be content. And I'm saying that with the Beyonce album coming out in a few weeks, which is big for me. But like big album for me. I'm obsessed with it. So kudos to you, Ariana Grande. If you're somehow listening to this, we have some more Ariana news in just a little bit. But before we get to that, to wrap up the Drew releases segment, our upcoming releases this week, the big one is Kacey Musgraves' Deeper Welly. Her album comes out. Cannot wait. I've been updating you guys about her singles from it. She released 2 so far, and I loved them both. Really, really, really excited for this release. And I believe that's the only release that we have this week. If I'm missing something, I'm honestly just in like an Ariana brain fog, so I apologize. I will update it on Instagram if there is new releases to add to that. But as of right now, I believe the only thing on my radar is Kacey. So new Kacey this Friday. Very excited. Cannot wait for that. We'll talk about that next week. Moving on from some music news into just more Ariana Grande news because our girl had a very busy weekend, a little bi-coastal moment. She was on SNL on Saturday. I didn't watch it live. I was at Shauna's house, like I said earlier, but I caught it after. She was in some skits, which I love because obviously Bowen Yang is her Wicked cast member and he is a star of SNL, so I'd love to see them together. I thought the skit that they did, like the people pleaser one, was hilarious. I loved it. And then seeing her sing with that red hair and having that moment with Bowen, I was like, A, the red hair is giving me Cat Valentine, and B, she literally looks like Meg from Hercules. So can that be her next musical moment? Like, can that happen? Let's start the campaign. I will I will be the leader of that campaign. Her performance of Won't Say I'm in Love has gone number one in our living room every single week since we moved in. We watch it at least once a week, if not twice a week. We are obsessed with it. So, number one and number two members of the Ariana for Hercules or Ariana for Meg campaign train are me and Thomas. But her performances, wow, wow, wow. Visually, so perfectly done. The dress, the way it changed colors was gorgeous. She performed Imperfect for You and We Can't Be Friends. Genius picking of the songs from her. I mean, We Can't Be Friends is the single, obviously just kind of helped with the streams and the music video there. And the visuals for that, oh my God, when it was the screens behind her and then the water came up and was like flooding. She One thing about her, like she's going to give us a visual in some sense. Like she's very artistic in that sense. Absolutely loved it. And then performing Imperfect for You, again, doesn't tell us much about the divorce, doesn't tell us much about her and Ethan, but it just gives us enough of a taste for the general public to kind of like she was putting a hook in the water and hoping they would bite. And I'm thinking they're biting. Fabulous performance. Both of them were so good. I can't get enough. And I didn't have to get enough because she also presented at the Oscars. So we're going to do an Oscars recap after this, but let's get the Ariana out of the way so we can focus on some other topics. She walked the red carpet, which she hasn't done in years, did a glam bot, which that obviously is her Grammys glam bot was so iconic. So for her to do it again was so exciting. She looked great. Her and Cynthia did a pink and green moment, which you guys know how I feel about Wicked. I absolutely love it. And then they presented best original song. Yeah, best original song. To Billie, which we all know Billie Eilish is like head Arianator in charge. So that was so exciting. And it just was like a cute moment. There was a clip of Billie on the carpet talking to Cynthia and she like covers her mouth. I guess she learned from People's Choice, but you could still hear her. She's like, "Is Ariana here?" And she like shakes her head and she freaks out. Billie is such a huge Ariana fan and she has been for years. So to see her continue to support her and to just like, she said in an interview recently, somebody was like, "Oh, when you're releasing your music," she was like, "We need Ariana to release first and then worry about me." So just really cute. I love seeing celebrities be fans of other people. And the amount of celebrities who were freaking out over Ariana Grande being at the Oscars was so cute. It's like, I love when celebrities love other celebrities. You know what I mean? It just gives us that like glimpse that like, they're all just people. We're all just people who enjoy the same things and, whatever. But that being said, I was talking to Jocelyn yesterday or last night. You guys, I've talked about Jocelyn plenty on the episode. I feel like she's been like a constant on every episode. So hi, Jocelyn. She and I were talking. She was like, if Ariana did, wreck a home, for lack of a better term, the way that everybody in Hollywood loves her and never has a bad thing to say about her just goes to show for her character. And that's what I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about. I don't think the allegations that happened with her and Ethan's wife were as true as they were. I feel like Ethan and his wife were kind of on the outs or something, and it was bad timing, I will say. I'm not saying like I don't think they were 100% in their relationship. Obviously they weren't. If he did cheat, if he did cheat, it's his fault, not hers. So let's take the heat off of her. Obviously it's not right. I know that, but it is telling that like so many people love her in the industry, which is a hard industry to love people in. So I just thought that was telling. I just love Ariana Grande. I feel so lucky to be alive at the same time as her. And that kind of closes up all of our Ariana from the week. But obviously, moving on, Hollywood's biggest night, the Oscars. The night starts out with Vanessa Hudgens announcing that she is pregnant. Baby V is having a baby, if it's a High School Musical cast member, I'm just going to root for them for the rest of my life. Once a wildcat, always a wildcat. I was truly obsessed with High School Musical growing up. It was such like I feel like it was such a big part of me being involved in like fandoms. Like it was one of my first it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first things that I was really like immersed in and just like fully obsessed with. It kind of started like being a stan of things. And I love to see the High School Musical cast growing up and just like they kind of raised us and now they're raising their children. So she looked gorgeous. That like sheer dress she wore to show off her belly. I loved it. I'm so thrilled for her. So congratulations to Vanessa. Then Margot Robbie walks the carpet and she is in an all black dress. So clearly she is letting the Barbie ship sail, which I am kind of disappointed. And I'm skipping ahead of it, but her Vanity Fair party outfit, not Barbie at all. It would kind of look like if the lover, if Taylor Swift's like lover era bodysuit and Fearless had a baby. So she's clearly like let go of the pink, let go of the Barbie, and it kind of hurt because it was like the final award show for Barbie, and she couldn't just do like two more Barbie looks and just like give it to us. I've been looking forward to everything she wears on the carpet since award season started, since the press tour for Barbie, really. I mean, I was so clocked in for that press tour because she just looked so good, every single thing she did, and it continued through, all of the award shows this year. So I figured the biggest one, she would do at least one final Barbie look, and we didn't get it. So that kind of hurt. And then there's a video of her walking the red carpet, and a bunch of fans yell, "Hi, Barbie," and she says, "Hi, Barbie," back. And somebody said they were like, "This is the final Hi, Barbie we're getting of like the Barbie movie era." And it hurt me. It genuinely upset me. Like, it's cool to think about the fact that we lived through this, but the fact that it really is kind of like closing that chapter, it kind of stings, you know? It's good. It's like sad. It's like letting something go that we were all a part of for such a long time. And that movie was so highly anticipated and just such a movement and moment in movie. Like it's absolutely going in the history books as far as like movies go. So that was sad to see, but well, there's some more Barbie news. Ryan Gosling. I mean, the name on everybody's lips performed I'm Just Ken. I will admit I don't like that song. It's like, I mean, it's not bad. It's just like in the retrospect of the Barbie movie, that song does not stand out to me, but I understand why it's important and I understand why everybody loves it because it is funny. Like it's a funny scene, it's a funny moment, and I think it was so necessary for him to perform this, and he killed it. He knocked it out of the park. First and foremost, it paid homage to Marilyn Monroe, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, which I thought was so funny to just like I just like to for them to even just like pay respect to anyone and for it to be like Marilyn Monroe in that performance is so funny. They had cast members in the performance, and I mean my favorite part of the whole thing had to be when he came down to the audience and gave Greta, Margot, and America Ferrera their microphone so they could sing it with him. And then he went over to Emma Stone and had her sing a line, which I posted about it so much, but like I will never get tired of Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling doing anything together. I am the insufferable La La Land stan that people were tweeting about. Like, I love the two of them so much. So that was such a cute little moment. Absolutely loved it. And on the topic of Emma Stone, she wins for Best Actress, which was just so cute. She is someone who I love so much, and I don't like, not that I don't keep up with her because I do usually see all the things she's in, though I did not see Poor Things, but that's another story. I just didn't get around to it. I will see it eventually. She's someone that I like forget how much I love until I see her, and I'm like, I love this bitch. Like I mean, like Crazy Stupid Love, Easy A, La La Land. She's been in so many just like fantastic movies, and she just always knocks it out of the park. So it was her second Best Actress win for her. So well deserved. Absolutely loved it. It was so cute the way she got so choked up during her speech. I want nothing but good things for Emma Stone. And then the obviously like, the biggest party of the night is the Vanity Fair party. You guys already know where I'm going with this. Lindsay Lohan. This is the first time she's attended this party in years. I think it's been over like 10 years since she's last attended. So it was a big deal for her to be there. And she truly looks better than she has ever looked in her entire life. Like this, let alone like her press tour last week that we talked about for Irish Wish. This night, she looked so jaw-droppingly stunning. I was like, that is my mother. That is my it girl. Ugh, ugh, I love her so much. I won't bore you guys with another segment about how much I love Lindsay Lohan, but just know that's my girl, and I am so happy to see her thriving and just ugh, everybody was out at this party. I mean, I thought the funnest thing was like Kim Kardashian, Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, and Nicole Richie all being there. I would have killed for a photo of the four of them because they were just so like Y2K, those like party girls. They were out in the scene, just like coming up together. I wish Britney could have been there, but obviously, unfortunately, her situation is a little skewed. But just so cool to see so many of these people who like kind of have had like fluctuating career, just like doing their thing now as they're older and mature and have come around. And there were photos of Lindsay and Kim together, which we would see them together a lot back in the early 2000s. So just such a fun little tidbit and just kind of like warmed my Y2K it girl heart. But everyone, I honestly, the one thing about Vanity Fair party is everybody looks so good. There was really not that many outfits where I was like, ooh, don't love it. There were some that I was like, could have been better. But like for the most part, everybody looked so good for Vanity Fair. And it's always a fun party to like wonder what happened. I did hear that Cardi B got into a fight with Saweetie at the party. I hate to say I'm not surprised, but like I'm not surprised. I love me some Cardi, but the way that she acts sometimes is a little, a little questionable. And not to say that like sometimes it's like people poke the bear, but I don't know if that is true. Cardi, come on. Like we're adults. You have a kid at home. Like you gotta bring it together. But there's no confirmation, whatever. Regardless, everybody showed up. Everybody looked fabulous. I honestly thought the Oscars was like a really fabulous, well done show this year. I thought everybody did a great job. It has just been so much fun kind of recapping award season on the podcast this year. It's been obviously my first year doing it. So every time there's a big award show, I get excited to come on and talk about it. And I feel like the Oscars is like the big one. There's obviously we have the Tonys. There's like what like the Critics' Choice, uh GLAAD Awards, I guess. Like there's still award shows coming up. We'll have to be amazed in August, but like I feel like we're getting through, the big ones right now, which is always just so much fun and always something to look forward to. So that is our Oscars recap. And moving on through the list of my things to chat about. Now, this next thing feels like it was done specifically for me. Specifically done because Beyonce knew that I was recording today. I said it 2 weeks ago, I believe, and I was like, does Beyonce remember she's releasing an album in 2 weeks? She has finally given us the name of the album. It is called Cowboy Carter. She's given us 4 vinyls, 2 CDs with 4 covers to go through. So we're unsure what the official cover of the album is. The saddle that was like posted today by Parkwood isn't is confirmed to not be the album cover, but I would kind of like it if it was. I think that would be a really fun concept because we had Renee on the last one and now this being the saddle, which kind of tie them together. But we have the cover reveal still coming, but there were 4 photos released, so kind of gives us an idea of like what the vibe of the album is. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. I pre-ordered the album. I did a vinyl and I did the CD. I think I did the red vinyl, which was the hair, like the blonde hair cover. And then I got the white CD, and that's the one with like the snake glasses. I wanted to get the blue CD, but I kind of panicked and just like added it to my cart. And I was like, whatever, it's Beyonce. I'm going to appreciate it anyway. So my pre-order is in. I hope your pre-order is in. And on the topic of Beyonce, there's some murmurs going around that there's potentially a Dolly Parton sample or feature of Jolene on this album. Dolly kind of said that like her and Beyonce have been chatting a bit lately, and people are pulling that like something with Jolene. If Dolly Parton is involved in this album to any extent, I will be passing away. I will freak out. I don't want to talk. I'm like, I just got a little sweaty thinking about it. I will literally be so floored if Dolly is involved in this Beyonce album. Ugh, I can't think about it too much. I will need 5 to 7 business days to recover if that does happen. But we finally have an album title. It is so close. We are 17 days away. 12 plus 17. Yeah, yes, that's right. I'm getting better at my quick math. I feel like we're going on this math evolution together, you guys. But yeah, so we are 17 days away from the album. March 29th, new Beyonce album. Uh, you guys know I can't wait. We will do a full recap on that album when it comes. And then moving on, we are actually at our TV recap portion of the episode. So, Drag Race. New day in the workroom. This week on Drag Race they had to write their own verse and perform their own verse to a new song called Power. And I enjoyed the performance. I thought everyone did a very good job. There were some slip ups, and not everybody had an easy road getting to their verse, but I thought overall it was well done. All I'm going to say is Saphira and Morphine ate down during their performance. And spoiler alert, they were the top two. We'll go into that in a second. But Saphira really like floored me beyond. She got on that stage and it was her stage. Like nobody else was on that stage with her. It was her show. They were the backup dancers. She is so phenomenal. I love her. But Morphine really showed out this week, finally. I have been a fan of Morphine for a while. I've been following her on Instagram since like 2020, 2021 because of her makeup looks. I remember during the pandemic and like that time when everybody was doing like at home drag, I found her on Instagram or TikTok and I've been following her for a while. So I know that she's so talented. Her makeup's always beautiful, but I was really waiting for her to have that like shining moment and she finally had it and she looked so fantastic in the challenge. She did so good on her verse, so good with everything. I just love her and I feel like she's really coming to herself. Sometimes it takes these girls a little bit to really like find out how they want to play the game. And I feel like she's finally coming into herself and like showing she's like, hey, I'm here, hear me roar. You know what I mean? So they do their performance, they do their thing. The most shocking part of the episode, there's two shocking parts. The first shocking part is that Plain Jane gives her immunity potion to Nymphia, which is very interesting because A, Plain Jane is a rotted bitch, so I never thought she would let go of it. Like, I thought they were gonna have to pry that immunity potion out of her cold, dead hands, but lo and behold, it was her last week to use it, and she did give it to Nymphia, which I will admit, as a Nymphia stan and as a Team Nymphia member, she needed it this week. She, out of everybody in the episode, definitely struggled the most during the performance. I thought her runway look was so fun. The little Chiquita banana moment, so perfect, so on brand. Absolutely loved it. But she definitely, out of everybody in the episode, I think between her and Dawn, I would say struggled the most during the performance. I would say. Yeah, I would say the two of them were like my least favorite. But Plain Jane gives Nymphia the immunity potion, meaning she cannot be in the bottom. And then we find out that nobody is in the bottom. Everybody is safe, and Saphira and Morphine are the top two. They now have to lip sync for the win. They lip sync to Made You Look by Megan Trainor, which is like a whole nother story that like I don't even want to get into. But they lip sync to it, and Saphira does win. It was deserved, I would say. Like it was a very good lip sync. Like they did what they could. It's not a good song to lip sync to. Like I feel like they could have switched it because if they were going to do a lip sync for the win, it should have been a better song to really show their talent. But lo and behold, they both knew they were safe. They weren't going to go home if they lost. So Saphira does win, Morphine is safe, and we move on to see another week. I am curious though, if Plane didn't give Nymphia the potion, I wonder if that would have been the outcome, if there still would have been two people in the top. I wonder if she would have been like a bottom. But then I'm like, oh my god, would she have sent Nymphia home? I don't think so. So I think it played out perfectly, honestly, because I couldn't have seen anyone really going home this week. Everyone did no one did bad necessarily. Like it wasn't there were some people who weren't great, but like it wasn't I feel like it made sense for this to be the episode where everybody stayed and we move on to another week. People always get mad when people get mad when people don't go home. I get more upset at the beginning of the season when it takes 4 episodes to get into people going home. But when we get to know these girls and we're so deep into the season, I don't want to see some of them go home every week. You know what I mean? So it was kind of nice to know, like, all right, we can breathe. We don't have a girl going home this week. Everybody is safe and they see another week. Though next week's episode looks a little crazy. The way that Plane was snapping at Dawn, I'm very curious to see like what that stemmed from, why it happened, what Plane says, because I feel like Plane will read a bitch down, but so will Dawn. So if we're seeing the two of them fight, get me some popcorn, get me a drink. I'm ready and seated for this fight. Moving on from TV news into the Traitors. Now, last week I said I think we had 2 weeks left, and then my friend Allison texted me when she was listening to the episode last week. Hi, Allison. She said she was like, "Oh my God, no, the finale is this week and the reunion." So I was like, "Holy shit, it's ending." So that's so sad. The Traitors is over, and this episode had me screaming. We find out that they kill Sheree, which obviously tells us from the jump, from the beginning of the episode, that there is still a traitor in the house. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Moving through, they do this challenge. Again, I don't understand these challenges. They are just like picking out of a hat, doing random fucking things. That timer on this challenge this week, there's no way they did that in 30 minutes. There is no way that CT dug through all those rocks, went and found the combo, went through the cave like in 30 minutes and then got on the boat and put the flags up. What 30 minutes did you guys have? I'm a very productive person. I get a lot done in a little bit amount of time, and even that to me, I was like, there is no way they did all of that in 30 minutes. But TV magic, they do it in 30 minutes. They win, I think it was like 20 grand, I think, added to the total. So it ends up being like 200 something thousand dollars for the total prize. Then they go back to the house. They're all like chit chatting, trying to figure out who they're going to vote out. Then they get to the round table. Now, the general consensus is that CT, Trishelle, and Sandra are going to vote out Kate. That leaves Kate and MJ by themselves. If the three of them vote out Kate, they get the traitors out because Kate is the traitor. When they get to the round table, CT votes for Sandra, and Kate is or starts like pegging Sandra as a traitor. So Kate has to pivot and vote for Sandra as well, which then betrays the trust between Trishelle and CT. So you would think. Now it is four left. It is Kate, CT, Trishelle, MJ. They go to the final fire and they have to vote to say if they think there's any traitors left in the house. They throw in a little smoke pod. If the thing turns green, they're saying all the traitors are out. If it turns red, they think there's a traitor. It was so stupid that Kate said there were no traitors left in the house because there were clearly traitors left in the house because Sheree was killed, alluding to the fact that somebody at the breakfast table that morning had to be a traitor. They voted Sandra out and she was a faithful, so somebody in that group had to be a traitor. Like, I am not good at math, but that is so obvious. You kill Sheree, there's 5 people left. You vote one person out, she's a faithful. Somebody in the house is a traitor. For you to just out yourself like that, stupid, 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 stupid. And she played such a good game up until that point. I could have ripped my hair out. I was so mad. So she votes green, everybody else votes red. Boom, target on her back. She's a traitor. She gets voted out. So now we're left with 3 faithfuls: MJ, CT, and Trishelle. Now, you would think they're all just going to split the money and be good, but no, no. They throw the things in the fire, and Trishelle's turns red. She now is saying that she thinks CT is a traitor, which I immediately was like, what the fuck is happening? They go around, they vote, they vote, they vote. It turns out that now CT and Trishelle turn on MJ. They vote MJ out. Even though she's a faithful, she gets kicked, gets the wool pulled over her eyes and is betrayed. And you can see it in her face that she's like, there's no way this is happening. There's no way this is happening. 3 faithfuls at the end. The three of them could have split the money and called it, but no. CT and Trishelle, who have been a pair the entire season, somehow link back up at the end, and even though they betrayed each other in this last episode, they come back together, vote her out, and now the two of them split the money. Which, like, obviously in a perfect world, you want to win with one person, so you only have to split the money 2 ways, and to win with the person you've been in an alliance with the whole time. I mean, yeah, come on, like it makes sense. But for MJ to make it this far, I never would have thought MJ would be in the finale. Genuinely. I did not think she was going to make it this far, and she fought and she made it through, played a good game. Like she did fine. Like she was smart, she did what she had to do. And then she gets to the end and they play her like a violin. I would have been mad as hell. And she was so mad on the reunion. And I do not blame her. The reunion, honestly, kind of boring. Not even going to recap it. Trishelle and CT win, and that is the end of the Traitors. What a good season. I am saying right now, if season 3 doesn't have a A-list cast, I'm going to be pissed because this season was so good. They have so much to live up to next year or whenever the next season happens. And right now, I'm just going to say I need Christine Quinn, I need Monica Garcia, and I need like another Real Housewives of Salt Lake City to be in the house with Monica on the next Traitors just to really like stir that pot. That's really my reality TV realm. And give us like I need 2 Drag Race girls also to make up for what they did to Peppermint. Give us 2 Drag Race girls, Christine Quinn, Monica, a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and give us like a random like reality TV star. Give us like Snooki, give us like someone who's just like a random oddball. Throw them in the bunch and then fill it in however you need. But like I need an all-star cast. Give us New York. Give us Tiffany Pollard. Like give us an all-star cast for the Traitors next season because they have high expectations to live up to because this was genuinely one of the best reality shows I've ever watched in my life. So fantastic. And I'm so glad I was able to talk about it on the podcast each week. I'm so glad we were able to, talk about it together. What a show. If you did not watch it, I'm sorry I spoiled the whole season for you, but I promise you it is worth the watch. So good. I'm on the edge of my seat for season 3. And that brings us to the end of the show. But you guys know the drill. I end every show with my yes and my mess of the week. Yes being something I'm loving, mess being something I'm not loving. And I hate to be this person and I hate to make my yes something that I've talked about in the episode. You guys know I really try to keep my yes and my mess separate from any topics, but I will take any opportunity to talk about this Ariana Grande album. My yes for the week is Eternal Sunshine. I'm sorry if that let you guys down, but I truly can't put into words how much I love and adore this album. It is, being somebody who has been a fan of Ariana literally since Victorious, like from so many years ago to now, and watching her grow and her evolution and like list all her different music sounds and this and that, like to see her now, so many years into her career, release an album that truly is such a perfect body of work. It is admirable. A lot of people can't say they're releasing their best album so far into their career, and it is truly so, oh, so incredible. So incredible. I'm just obsessed. Absolutely love it. All the hate she's getting online from people specifically. Oh, I was gonna talk about this. Um, Lots of Taylor Swift, actually, no, lots of Swifties saying a lot about Ariana. Now, I want to clarify something. If I use the word Swiftie on this show ever, it is derogatory because there is nothing positive to me about that word. I am a Taylor Swift fan. I am a huge Taylor Swift fan. You guys know she's one of my faves. I'm obsessed with her. I've seen her in concert. I have a tattoo. I've met her. Like, I love Taylor Swift. I am not a Swiftie. And I am, no. Swifties are deranged, insane, sick people. And I don't care. I do not care if that's like controversial, gonna get me hate at some point. It's fine. Because you guys know what I mean. I saw a tweet that said, Evermore is still the number X amount of streamed album of an album starting with the letter E. I saw people saying the nastiest things about Ariana with Taylor as their profile picture. And it's coming from other fandoms too, don't get me wrong, but the Taylor fandom, the Swifties are really buckling down because for some reason they're like mentally deranged and there can't be like multiple pop stars at once, like doing well. Like they're not girls, they don't stand for a lot of things Taylor stands for. Like they are just mean, nasty, sick, deranged people, and I am proud to say I am not a Swiftie. I am a Taylor Swift fan. And just remember, if I ever use the word Swiftie, it's in a derogatory sense. That being said, Eternal Sunshine, out of this world. My favorite album has been released in the last year or so, I would say. It is so, so phenomenal. I'm sure you guys have listened to it. If you haven't, please, if you do anything on this show besides leave me a 5-star rating, listen to this album. It is the least that I can ask from you guys. I am so obsessed. Oh, I just love it. And my mess for the week. Where the fuck is Kate Middleton? What is going on with her? If you don't know, so a few weeks, maybe a month ago at this point, there was some like announcement from the Royals saying that she had to like pull out of any engagements because she had just like there was an undisclosed reason. Just so happened that that amount of time that she was going to be out of her engagement was also the amount of time it takes to recover from a BBL. So people were saying, "Oh my God, did she get a BBL?" Which like work, good for you. But now it's getting weird. There were these paparazzi photos of her in a car, and it was so grainy. Like, I have watched TikTok live streams of the Eras tour in better quality from the 300 section than this photo of Kate Middleton. You're telling me these paparazzi don't have a good enough camera to get a close up photo of her in a car? The math does not math. And then the cherry on top was this weekend, something was posted on her socials. I'm sure you guys have seen it. And it was the worst photoshopped photo you could ever have done. First and foremost, her head in the photo is literally from her Vogue cover. It is the exact same art, like facial expression, everything. If you photo, people are like put like taking the transparency of it down a little bit over the image, and it matches up perfectly. The same facial expression, the same smile, everything. And I'm sorry, like you can't, it is almost physically impossible to make down to like each little muscle in your face the same look. And if that's not enough, go look at the hands in the photo. They are blurry. The hemlines on their clothing is off. There's a part of the wall in the top corner, and the like continuity of the molding in the where they are is off. It is just like very weird. I saw something about the girl's hair. Her hair is longer than it should be. Like just like so many weird things. And I'm just like, A, how does somebody of this status not have like better coverage on like what she's doing, or like hiding it, and B, like, what the fuck is going on? This is so interesting to me. And as a civil, I'm not someone, I don't really pay attention to the royals. Like, I don't really care that much. Like, I did stay home for the royal wedding, but that's because my mom told me it was history. And like, she wasn't wrong. I did stay home from school to watch it. But like, I don't really keep up with them. I don't really care enough. Like, I don't know. But this I am tuned in for, and I need to know where the hell Kate Middleton is because this is not adding up. Something is weird, and I'm tuned in, and I cannot stop thinking about it. But it is my mess for the week because like you're a royal. Why is this such a thing, you know? I don't know. Something is weird. Something is going on over the pond, and I cannot wait to see who gets to the bottom of it and what comes of it. I hope everybody's okay. Like, I hope there's no like health or safety issues, but like, there's been some weird things going on over yonder. So TBD on that. But that is my mess for the week, which means we have made it to the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Too Pop to Handle. If you're listening to us at a podcast and you like what you heard, make sure you give us a 5-star review, leave us a rating, and let me know what you're thinking about. If you're watching us as a video podcast on YouTube, leave us a thumbs up, give us a comment, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, you know, all the YouTube things. Just do it all. If you're not already following us on socials, make sure you are. We are at 2pop to handle on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, I'm there talking. If you're interested in following me on social media, I am at Andrew Nucatola on all social media platforms. And with that, I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.